Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shadow and Sun. Today, we are going to be making a video about skeletons.
Giant skeletons, titan skeletons, whatever you want to call them. Every 99-cent store, Target and Walmart are selling bags of these guys, and we couldn't resist making something out of them. This is more or less what your finished project will look like. Hope you like it.
Again, it doesn't need to look exactly like that.
You can do all kinds
swords. It can be any type of weapon. Really just whatever you want it to be.
We found a new use for Pringles can lids, besides just using pallets. Here's a work in progress to give you an idea of how you will start the project out. We put a couple of popsicle stick pieces in here on top of the Pringles lid. Then you will use some paper clay or putty or something to fill in the base. You can even try a dungeon tile floor pattern if you like, or we're going to do one with snow. We're going to do one with a dungeon tile maybe.
But probably not. One of these probably wouldn't fit in a dungeon.
Yeah, they might be too big, especially for Dungeons and Lasers setups, unless you put them as your boss in your last room. The sword was made with these cocktail swords. You might have a little difficulty finding. We got these at Party City, but they're worth their weight in gold for projects like this. You can also use an assortment of action figure weapons. Do we have any more here to show off? But we're going to be giving one of them a nice
axe, which we cut this thing. It's from some old action figure that I probably got when I was a lot younger.
The tunic is actually made with, believe it or not, a dried out wet wipe. And you cut a diamond pattern hole here and just pop it over the shoulders. The shoulder pads are made with pieces of a for sale sign. You can also get these at the 99-cent store. Really useful bit of crafting plastic. The shoulder pads are also made with this plastic. I made a few tactical errors when putting these together, which I won't make next time, but the shield is also
made out of that.
Where is the shield? Oh. The shield, I just cut out a circle.
And then a smaller circle.
I started with this as a pattern for the original circle. Then I used, I think, a quarter or a coin and then a smaller coin. Trimmed it up with some milliput. And I put some little toothpick holes in there for riveting. As you can see on this shield, I also made the handles out of this plastic.
You make a lot of stuff out of that plastic.
It's going to come in real handy for you crafters. Then base it with some rocks, some sand, whatever you...
And also some paper clay.
Yeah.
That's on all sand.
We're also working on this big guy. As you saw in our last crafting video, we took a spider and we're going to give him a rider, who will also, when we're done,
have this cape thing, which by the way came from
an action figure.
A very old Burger King toy thing.
I believe it was Thor.
It was a Thor. Probably came out when the first Avengers movie came out.
The hood is also taken from a 99-cent store action figure set.
I actually have one here that we didn't open, which we're probably actually not going to use, considering we have the other swords. It's one of these, just a blue guy instead of a red guy. That's what it was. We just took it out. It had these arm things.
They were like gauntlets with claws on them.
We
cut off the claws. We're going to use these for gauntlets for this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little piece of... It was an old shield for a high-tech robot dude that is, just sitting around. I'm going to give him a shoulder pad here. He also will have a shield and a lance made from a barbecue skewer, a little bit of putty, toothpick in there to get a finer point, and he'll be holding it like so when we glue his other arm on. Not sure how long to make it yet, but definitely want to make it
we also
decent length.
Needed to fit with this cape. I'll just hold them like this actually.
When you're posing these guys, you definitely want to glue the hips in. But the arms and possibly the knees, you're going to want to clip with your basic clippers, and you can probably get away with using a hot glue gun to rejoint. We used super glue and baking soda.
Which we definitely should have used.
The hot glue gun, you think so?
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was doing a very similar thing, cutting things apart and gluing them back together, I used a hot glue gun, and it was incredibly easy, other than burning my hand.
But you're going to want to cut the
Which
shoulders.
actually was a bad thing.
Cut the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists if you feel the need, and the knees to get different poses, because this guy, I gave him almost no change whatsoever. Just wanted to bang him out as quick as possible. Still think he turned out okay. A few mistakes here and there that we'll definitely learn from. Something
I will say is that the heads, I don't like them, but I mean they're very cheap.
But if you notice over here on this one,
I did add some stuff to the head because
gave him a facelift.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to turn out a lot better when we black bomb all of these.
I just wanted it to look less
comical.
Yeah.
They're very, as you can see with this guy, I didn't change his head at all. I just gave him a black bomb, followed up with some skeletal bone from Army Painters and a soft tone wash over the whole thing.
We also used one of these swords.
One of the cocktail swords. Painted it up. He's also got a little gem on his belt buckle, just to give him a little flair. Now with these tunics, where's the tissue paper? After you've cut the hole in the top, just you cut a triangle here after you've folded it, and start out with a small triangular cut, and until you get one that's the way you like it. Try it on dry, but then what I did was I made a mix of white glue and water, soaked it for a second, pulled off all the excess liquid, popped it on, give it some wrinkles, let it dry. Couple of hours. The belt is also made from milliput.
Yeah. We make a lot of things using milliput.
Yeah, we're just about out of milliput, so we'll be heading back to the craft store this weekend. All in all, you'll have...
Okay, let me see. This guy, the helmet...
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did a lot of work.
The helmet came from the same thing with this thing. By the way, I forgot to mention. We used one of those skulls from the necklaces. Also, we used a lot of super glue and baking soda. But it came from the same thing as this, I assume.
And we cut out the original face. His face is actually a skull ring that we filed down extensively and fitted in there, along with some more milliput to attach it to the body.
Yeah.
Again, with the bases, found these Pringles lids or your generic version of Pringles or what have you.
Which is what we're currently using, I believe.
Yeah, they actually make really good bases. They're for your bigger monsters. A lot of people use other things. I would like the beveled edge that most miniatures have, miniature bases, but these actually, once they're full of clay, give a lot of weight to it, and it give you a lot to work with. Like we said before, with the paper clay, you can do a lot of different things. You could probably even make water effects, reservoirs for your puddles, if you will, or even a pool with a snake coming out of it, anything like that. But I think all in all, something you guys will definitely have a lot of fun with. The saddle was also made with milliput, just a simple oval shape, placed over the back with a couple of straps and some rivet holes, just to show you just how easy this was. It really, you know, took all 5 minutes to make the saddle. I think once it's painted, it'll look pretty decent. I toyed around with the idea of putting buckles on it to make it more identifiable as a saddle, but I didn't have any small rings or what have you to make the buckles. If I find them before we black bomb this, that's what I'll do. Put a couple of buckles to show that's, you know, good luck actually strapping a saddle to a giant spider. I don't know how they did it, but magic, right?
Yeah.
So this will give you, you know, if you buy the package of skeletons, I believe you get 4 to 8, depending on where you get them.
Also, you can get some that are pre-made or some that you need to put together.
Yeah. Either way, they're about $1 for 4 or $1 for 8, and you know that gives you a good starting point. You can also use a lot of these bones for basing materials or something like that, or you know just scenery if you wanted to make a dead giant skeleton laying on the ground somewhere. That'd probably look pretty cool.
Yeah.
We may do that with some of the leftovers. So we have.
Or use them for a project some other time.
Yeah, maybe do another project like this next Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, we're hoping to have a special Halloween episode depending on what we actually do for Halloween. But we will have our Sunday show-off show where we show all of the things we did this month, November 1st, same time as usual.
Yes, we will be doing that.
And we have a show coming up this Sunday, a little bit longer video than usual, where we're going to show off something that we've been playing around with.
Yes, we'll be doing that as well.
So I hope you guys had fun. Have a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.